What's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Blacksthetics, Apparel. Trying to keep up with these videos as best as I can. And today was a shoulder session. It's a solid session. Another one ticked off the box, as they say. And I hope you enjoyed what I got up to today. So I started off warming up with a bar. As you can see here, wide grip barbell rows, front rows. Start off with a few set of these, 3 or 4 sets I did to really get blood pumping into the shoulder. It's a very, very cold day today in the UK. In fact, it started snowing today. So, yeah, it's winter's back. I hate this time of the year, but hey ho. They say your summer physique is built in the winter, and here I am working away at my summer physique. So, my first working set was standing barbell presses, as you can see here, with very, very strict form. I tried to keep the form as strict as possible. As you can see, it's not a heavy weight. It's about 60 kilos. And that was my first working set. Now, the idea is to keep the form as strict as possible during these sets. I could put 2 plates aside and try and press that, but the form would be horrendous. I'd be using my legs and my back and everything and jerking the movement. I didn't want to do that today. I wanted to stick to strict form, and that's exactly what I did. So if you're going to hit these presses, make sure you warm up properly, of course. Well, you should warm up before you do anything, really. Especially the older guys and girls amongst us. So we're not young anymore, so yeah, make sure you warm up before you do any exercise. So yeah, my first set was 4 sets of 12 on the standing barbell presses with strict form. Then I moved on to these wide grip front rows. Now these have become one of my favorites over the years. I love doing these. I mostly train off feeling, right? So a lot of the movements I incorporate in my training is I do it off feel. So if I feel it working a particular body part, the one I'm training, which is shoulder, I'm going to stick to it. And I make adjustments. So I could, you see most people doing this movement, they bring their hands in really close, and that's great. But you can also go extremely wide, as you can see here, and see how that feels on your shoulders as you do it. And that's exactly what I did on this on that set. So I did 4 sets of 12 of those. So that's one for you to try, one for you to incorporate into your next shoulder session if you don't do it already. And then I moved on to your Arnie presses. Again, the weight is not particularly heavy. It's quite a it's a fairly light weight for me anyway. And it's not me bragging or anything like that. It's a fairly light weight for me, and I wanted to. Like I said, I wanted to have one of these days where I stick to really strict form, and it's just as important doing that as it is going really heavy, in my experience. So the Arnie presses, again, it's a common exercise. You see a lot of people doing it in the gym, I'm sure. It's slightly harder as there's a more range of movement. You can see you're bringing the dumbbells right in. And back up again. So it's basically, it's slightly different to your conventional shoulder press, dumbbell shoulder press. And if you don't do it, I'd suggest it's one for you to try slightly harder. Like I said, it's a little harder than doing your conventional dumbbell press. So yeah, give that one a try. If you don't do that already. And again, from that, I moved on to dumbbell flies. And this is one that most people do on shoulder days, right? So there's no real, there's nothing much to explain here. I did it seated. I think I did a couple of standing as well. But for the most part, I mix it up between seated and standing dumbbell flies. And then I moved on to our front lateral raises. Again, these are one of my favorites exercises on shoulder day. The front lat raises. Or the front delt raises, I suppose. And it hits the front delts in a way that no other exercise does for me. your front delt being one of the first thing people see when they see you, right? So on stage, your chest and shoulders and traps are the first thing, well, people see, of course, your legs and everything else, but you make an impression with your front delts, your shoulders, your traps. So it's important you train these, even if you don't have to be a competitor to know that, to do that. If you want your physique to stand out, I'd say you hit these front delt raises. So I did it standing and seated, as you can see here. It's slightly harder doing it seated as opposed to doing it standing. I suppose you could use a lot more momentum if you're not using strict form when standing, as opposed to being seated, where you can't use your leg and back to raise the dumbbell as some people do. Again, I try to stick to strict form as possible. As you can see here, I am slightly moving forward, as you can see. I don't know, I must have forgotten what. But try to stick to strict form when you do these. Oh, you should stick to strict form in any exercise that you do. It bodes well for building a good physique. Then I tried some isolation here, and this is coming towards the end of my session. Again, everything was 4 sets of 12 reps or so, or there, about 10 to 12 reps, I believe I did. I believe I did 10 on here, but everything was 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. And these single arm isolation lateral raises are great for isolation. Isolating the traps. Again, I train on feel, so if it feels good, I'm going to do it. And this is a good one to add to your shoulder session. Now, on shoulder days, I tend to train shoulders on its own. Sometimes I hit some abs as well, because I tend to neglect my ab training. So I finish off with abs at the end, sometimes calves. Again, another body part a lot of us tend to neglect. But shoulder days is mainly on its own, because we've got so many variations of exercise you could do on shoulder days. One of my favorite days in the gym, to be honest, shoulder days. So yeah, I always finish off on pull-ups though. I love finishing my shoulder days doing pull-ups. So when you're fatigued, there isn't much left, you finish off on pull-ups. And that was it, really. That was a session. So yeah, if you liked what you saw, comment, like. It helps me to make more videos. It motivates me to make more videos if I see you guys liking it. I don't get many people liking my videos, unfortunately, or even watching my videos. But you got to start somewhere, I suppose, and keep building. So I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys enjoyed my quick session, edited obviously and quickened up. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Well done.